Hey you guys, Miss Loraina here, okay? We're trying out a new angle this week, but I'm back for week 4, okay? So far, in the past 3 weeks, we talked about our I message. We've talked about solutions to our conflicts, right? Last week, we talked about good versus bad decisions and good versus bad consequences. And we also went over what peer pressure was, okay? Now, this week, we're going to go over something a little different, okay? It's a little bit more of a serious topic, all right? And there's a lot more talking involved, okay? But we're going to go over it as quickly as possible. That way, you guys can make it to your puppet show, all right? Now, this week's lesson is over the word drugs, okay? Now, I know we've all heard that word before, okay? And I know a lot of us, our first thought is, oh my God, Miss Loraina, why are you talking about that word drugs? Drugs are bad, right? That's what a lot of us are thinking, but actually, Miss Loraina's here to tell you something a little different, okay? The word drug, it isn't bad. A drug doesn't mean it's bad, okay? The word drug just means a chemical that changes the way your body works, okay? That's what I want you to remember for today's lesson. A drug is a chemical that changes how your body works, okay? Changes how your bodies work, okay? Now, we're going to go over 4 different drugs today. So 4 things that change how your body works, okay? But real quickly, I want to talk about why I'm saying drugs isn't bad, okay? The word drug itself is just for something that changes how your bodies work. That doesn't mean it's bad. It just means it changes your body. Now, if we abuse a drug, so we use it how it's not supposed to be used. So let's say somebody steals somebody else's medicine on purpose. That's abuse of a drug, and that is bad. We're going to talk about alcohol being a drug. Let's say somebody 16 is drinking alcohol. That's against the law, right? And that's abusing a drug. That is bad, right? If you use a drug that is against the law, which we know what those are, okay, we're not going to talk about it. But if you use a drug that is against the law, so it's illegal, that is bad, okay? But the word drug itself is just for things that change how your body works, okay? We're going over 4 drugs today, okay? Now, I already talked about medicine, okay? I have this picture right here for us. It is a picture of pills, right? So we can get medicine in a pill form, or we can get medicine in a liquid form, right? Like cough syrup, okay? Medicine is 100% a drug, okay? Because medicine, when you put it in your body, medicine changes how your body works, okay? So if you have a really bad cough, you go to the doctor gives you cough medicine. That cough medicine, when you put it in your body, starts to change how your body works, okay? It changes your body by getting rid of the cough. It makes you feel better, okay? It's because the medicine is a drug and it is changing how your body works, okay? Now, again, I'm not telling you that medicine is a drug because it is bad. That's not what I'm saying. I am letting you know that medicine is a drug because it changes how your bodies work, okay? Now, we've all had to take medicine before. I'm sure we all been to the doctor before and they've given us medicine, right? So there's a couple of ways to stay safe around medicine because after all, it does change our body, okay? When you go to the doctor, they give you medicine, you pick it up from the pharmacy. How do you know it's yours? You're probably like, duh, Miss Loraina, it has my name on it. And that's right. Yeah, that's how we know. Because when we get our medicine, it has this nice little label on it, okay? So one way to stay safe is to make sure we're reading our labels. Make sure it has our day on it, our name on it, okay? It's also going to have the day you were born on it, okay? So we're going to read that label, double check that label. Does it have your name, right? Then another way to stay safe around medicine, you guys are young, you're in 2nd grade. So should you be running to the medicine cabinet and just swallowing what you think is yours? Or drinking what you think is yours from the medicine cabinet? No, right? So one way to stay safe around medicine is because you guys are young is to make sure that you are only taking medicine around an adult, okay? So you need adult supervision. So an adult is watching you. This helps you stay safe for many reasons. One, they're going to double check you. They're going to make sure it was made for you, has your name on it, okay? And that adult is also going to check, is this medicine even made for a child, okay? Is it made for somebody who is young? Or is it made for an adult, right? Because if we are young, you guys are in 2nd grade, and we put an adult medicine in our young growing bodies, it could actually hurt us instead of help us, okay? So another way to stay safe is to make sure we have an adult around, okay, if we need to take medicine. Adult supervision. So we're checking our labels, and we're making sure we have an adult around, okay? But medicine is a drug, okay? Say it with me, okay? Medicine is a drug. Good job. That's the first drug we're going to talk about. We're quickly going to move on to drug 2, okay? Because I know you guys are anxious for your puppet show. And drug 2 is found in this picture here. What is this? You're probably like, oh my goodness, I've seen this, Miss Loraina. My adult at home drinks it every morning, okay? It's coffee. Yeah. And no, I'm not saying coffee is a drug, but there is a drug in coffee. In fact, that drug that's in coffee is in a lot of drinks. It's in sodas and teas, right? What is that drug? Caffeine, right? Good job. Caffeine is 100% a drug because when you put caffeine in your body, it changes how your body works, okay? Caffeine changes your body by speeding your bodies up. It gets your bodies going. This is why you see a lot of adults drink coffee very first thing in the morning, because that coffee is going to help wake them up. It gets them going, gives them quick energy, right? Now, again, not telling you that, oh my goodness, Miss Loraina said caffeine is bad, therefore I need to throw out all my mom or uncle's coffee, or I need to smack a Coke out of their hand anytime we're at dinner. No, that's not what I'm telling you. That's going to get you in a lot of trouble. No, I'm just letting you know that caffeine is in coffee. It is in tea. It's in different sodas that we drink, okay? And that caffeine that's in those is a drug because it changes how our bodies work, okay? Now, in fact, we're going to talk about a new word real quickly. Caffeine is okay in your bodies in moderation, okay? Now, moderation, you're going to hear that a lot this lesson. Moderation is a big word that just means little bits, okay? So say it with me. Moderation means little bits. Good job. Awesome. So we can have caffeine in moderation in those little bits. So your adult having coffee when they wake up, that's okay because the caffeine's in their body in little bits. Just like if you were to go to a baseball game and you ask for a Coke with your popcorn, chances are your adult is going to say yes because you're having that caffeine in moderations, in little bits, right? The adults we live with, we know too much caffeine can actually hurt our bodies, right? Because too much caffeine can get your heart pumping, and it's pumping really, really fast, and it can cause your chest to hurt and cause your head to hurt, right? So we got to make sure we're only having caffeine in moderation, in little bits, okay? But we're saying caffeine is a drug because it changes how our bodies work. Good job. Awesome. So we've said so far medicine is a drug because it changes how our bodies work. And we have said caffeine is a drug because it changes how our bodies work, okay? We also talked about the word moderation. Moderation means little bits. Good job. We're going to use that word moderation again to talk about this photo. In this photo, you see a lot of bottled beverages, bottled drinks. What do we think these are? Some of us may have seen them before. If you're thinking, Miss Loraina, those are beers, then you're right again, okay? Because this picture is of beers, okay? Beers have alcohol in them, okay? Alcohol is a drug because alcohol changes how our bodies work. Now, alcohol is a little different. We're going to talk about a couple of things with alcohol. So first, I just want you to remember, alcohol is a drug because it changes our bodies. Good job. Alcohol changes our bodies by slowing our bodies down, slowing our thinking down, slowing our brains down, okay? And because of how alcohol changes your bodies, there are now laws against who can buy and who can drink alcohol, right? We all know in order to buy or drink alcohol, you have to be 21, okay? And that's because of how alcohol changes your body. Now, again, I'm not saying if you go to dinner with maybe your grandma and grandpa and they're having a beer, I'm not telling you to smack that out of their hands because Miss Loraina said alcohol is bad. Because that's not what I'm telling you. Again, gonna get you in trouble. But no, I'm letting you know that alcohol is a drug because it changes how your bodies work. Okay? We just said you have to be 21 or older before you can buy or drink alcohol. Okay? So, if your adult in your house or at dinner with you is 21 or older and they're having a beer with dinner, that is okay because they are having that alcohol in moderation. And moderation means little bits, right? So if they're having a beer with dinner, that is okay because they are 21 and older and they're having alcohol in moderation in those little bits, okay? So, again, I'm not telling you alcohol is bad. I am just letting you know that alcohol is a drug because it changes our bodies. Good job. Okay, I'm letting you know alcohol changes your body because it slows our bodies down. Okay, we know that you have to be 21 and older before you can buy or drink alcohol. Okay, so if mom or dad, grandma, grandpa is having beer or wine or some other kind of alcohol in their house or maybe at dinner, okay, remember it is okay in moderation in those little bits. Okay. Because those adults around you are 21 and older, okay? Now, I said we were going to go over 4 drugs, okay? So far, we said alcohol is a drug. We've said caffeine is a drug because they change our bodies, okay? We said caffeine's okay in moderation. And alcohol is okay in moderation if we're 21 and older, right? And moderation means little bits. Good job. And we also said medicine is a drug because when we put medicine in our body, it changes how our bodies work. That means we have one more drug to talk about. And the last drug we're going to talk about can be found in this picture of a cigarette, okay? Now, this one's tricky for some because there's a lot that goes into a cigarette, okay? But the drug found in cigarettes is called nicotine. Nicotine is what I call a pesky little drug because once nicotine's in your body, it changes your body by never leaving, okay? Nicotine makes your body want more nicotine. Nicotine makes your body crave it. You need it. You have to have it. That's why if you see a person's, maybe somebody you know, smoke a cigarette, minutes later, they're having another one, okay? A few minutes later, they're having another one. And that's because the nicotine is in their brain, in their bodies, telling their brain and body that they need more nicotine, so they smoke more cigarettes, okay? Nicotine is very addictive. It's really hard to leave. That's why if you know somebody who has quit smoking cigarettes, it's really hard on the person and it takes a long time, okay? It's because they're having to fight their brain, fight their bodies, telling them they need nicotine, okay? Now, nicotine's not just in cigarettes. No, nicotine's in a lot of products we see nowadays, okay? Nicotine is in smokeless tobacco, so things that we call chew or dips, okay? Nicotine is also in e-cigarettes, vapes, Juuls, pods, these things that we see nowadays, electric forms of the cigarette smoking, all has nicotine in it, okay? And this nicotine, like I said, is changing your body, okay? Changes your body by telling your body that you need more cigarettes, okay? Now, there's a lot of things in cigarettes, okay? And our puppet show is going to focus in on that, okay? Yeah, Miss Loraina's not telling you these things to scare you or gross you out in any way. Miss Loraina just wants you guys to have all the facts. That way, when you are older, when you're adults, you can make the best decisions for you, the healthiest decisions for you, okay? Because I know the older you get, the more likely you're going to face peer pressure. Remember, we talked about it last week. You might face peer pressure to try a cigarette or to drink alcohol underage. And I just want to make sure you know everything possible so you can make the best decisions for you. Okay? Now, with that being said, our puppet show that I'm about to cut to is going to focus in on cigarette smoking, okay? And last week we talked about the word consequence, right? And we said the word consequence is what happens after you make a decision, okay? So in today's puppet show, we're going to go over the consequences of cigarette smoking. So what could happen to your body if you decided to take up cigarette smoking and keep it up, okay? They're also going to mention a couple of things that is in cigarettes, right? They're going to mention tar, which is used to make cigarettes that we also use to make driveways, okay? Cigarettes also have gasoline in it that we use to fill up our cars, right? There's a lot of things in cigarettes, okay? So again, I'm just letting you know what is in cigarettes because we're going to talk about it in our puppet show, okay? And I'll see you guys later when I video chat, okay? Bye. Pete, Betsy, and Ricardo are practicing soccer in the park on a Saturday afternoon. Pete Porcupine kicked the ball into the goal area right past Ricardo. Ricardo Raccoon says, "That would have been the winning goal for sure if we were playing in a game." Pete Porcupine says, "Hey, thanks, Ricardo." Betsy Beaver says, "I'm just glad we all finished our science projects. We have the rest of today and tomorrow free, unlike Serena, who didn't even start hers." Pete Porcupine says, "Well, since our projects are done, why don't we go see if Serena needs some help?" All three of the friends were walking out of the park when they spotted Serena Fox sitting on a bench. They run over to her. Ricardo Raccoon says, "Hey, Serena! Wait, what are you doing?" Oh boy, the sight of a cigarette in Serena's hand stops Ricardo from speaking. Betsy Beaver says, "I can't believe you're smoking a cigarette." Serena Fox says, "Why shouldn't I? All the cool kids are smoking them. And besides, my dad smokes cigarettes all the time." Betsy Beaver says, "I don't think the kids who smoke cigarettes are cool." Ricardo Raccoon says, "Yeah, just because your dad smokes them doesn't mean you should." Serena Fox says, "Oh, what do you know about cigarette smoking?" Ricardo Raccoon says, "Not much, but I know it doesn't smell good." Serena Fox says, "Pete, what do you think about cigarette smoking?" as she takes a puff and starts to cough. Pete Porcupine says, "I don't like it. My mom smokes cigarettes. She coughs a lot. I threw her cigarettes away once, but she got really mad at me." Ricardo Raccoon says, "Hey, look, here comes the coach." Coach Katrina says, "Hi, everyone. Serena? I didn't know you smoked cigarettes." Serena Fox says, "I think I look very cool smoking them, just like in magazines. But I must admit, it doesn't taste very good." Coach Katrina says, "I thought I looked cool when I started smoking cigarettes with friends, but I learned the hard way. The coolest thing to do is to not start." Betsy Beaver says, "You used to smoke?" Coach Katrina says, "Yeah, I did when I was in college. I started cigarette smoking because my friends did. Then I found out I couldn't run as fast as I used to, and I had trouble breathing. I wanted to quit cigarette smoking. I just didn't realize how hard it would be to stop, even though I hadn't been smoking them for that long." Serena Fox says, "My dad tries to stop smoking cigarettes all the time. Why is it so hard to just stop?" Coach Katrina says, "Cigarettes have a drug called nicotine in it. Nicotine makes your body want more of it. Just like other kinds of drugs, it's addictive." Ricardo Raccoon says, "Well, I want to know more about cigarette smoking. Why is smoking them so bad for you?" Coach Katrina says, "Cigarette smoke has many unhealthy chemicals in it. These chemicals can cause illnesses like cancer. Cigarette smoke also has something called tar in it. Tar clogs your lungs, turning them black and makes it hard to breathe." Serena Fox says, "Maybe that's why I had trouble playing soccer yesterday." Coach Katrina says, "You're probably right. Cigarette smoke also turns your teeth yellow and can give you wrinkles." Ricardo Raccoon says, "And it makes your hair smell bad." Betsy Beaver says, gross! Now I really don't understand why people think it's cool to smoke cigarettes. It doesn't seem cool to have black lungs, yellow teeth, smelly hair, and wrinkles. Serena Fox says, wow, I guess cigarette smoking isn't that cool after all. Pete Porcupine says, I'm going to make a healthy choice. I'll never smoke cigarettes because I want to be in the best shape to run and play soccer. Serena Fox says, hey, I know what I can do my science project about now. I'll do a research project on cigarette smoking. The end. Good job, everyone.